All right, so welcome everyone. My name is Jen Hoyer and I'm an educating librarian at the Center for Brooklyn History. I'm also the coordinator for this year's New York City History Day contest. And so welcome to today's info session on judging for New York City History Day 2021. I'm going to talk through a brief presentation. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, what is History Day? New York City History Day is the regional contest for National History Day, a program that provides over 500,000 students each year the opportunity to excel at historical research, interpretation, and creative expression. We are really excited to host the New York City Regional Contest this year virtually from the Center for Brooklyn History. And then top entries will be invited to advance to state and national contests. Some of you might be wondering, what is the Center for Brooklyn History? The Center for Brooklyn History preserves, protects, and shares Brooklyn's history with the borough's diverse audiences and beyond. You might know us under a different name. The Center for Brooklyn History is the result of a 2020 merger between Brooklyn Historical Society and the Brooklyn Public Library's Brooklyn Collection Archive. So as a part of the Brooklyn Public Library, we are the most expansive collection of Brooklyn history in the world. We love local history. This is our first year hosting the New York City History Day contest. So we are so excited to support student and teacher research through History Day this year. Today, I want to talk about a few different things. I want to give some updates on what the New York City History Day contest looks like this year. And I'll talk about the role of a judge at History Day and what exactly it is that judges do. I'm also going to go through a couple of important dates to keep in mind, and then we'll have lots of time for Q&A. I want to highlight that this is not an in-depth judge training session. We'll have more of those closer to the contest kicking off. Today is just an overview and a chance to figure out what this means and figure out if you are interested in judging. So let's talk about what New York City History Day 2021 will look like. This year's contest is going to be entirely virtual at the regional, state, and national levels. Many regional and state and the national contest as well, contests had to go virtual last year. However, the New York City contest didn't go virtual because the contest was held about 2 weeks before other things in New York City shut down. So this year's contest in New York City does really feel different, but a lot of things are really similar. So students create projects, and those projects are related to the contest theme. I'll talk about that more in a moment. And they create projects in one of 5 categories: documentaries, exhibits, papers, performance, or website. And all of these categories, except the paper category, allow individual or group submissions. And groups can have up to 5 students working together on a project. Students also compete in junior or senior divisions. So grades 6 through 8 are together and grades 9 through 12 are together. Students are expected to show that they've done wide research with both primary and secondary sources. And it's important for projects to show historical context, multiple perspectives, historical accuracy, and historical significance to make use of a historic argument. All entries, regardless of the category, include a title page, a process paper, and annotated bibliography, in addition to the main project itself. It's easy to talk about that, but I thought it might be more useful for us to look at a few projects that won at the national level last year and see what is involved in a project. I will share a link to this presentation after today's session, so you can actually click through to look at these yourself. But let's take a look first at this project, which is a website. This website was created by a group. We can see down here, it's a junior division, so grades 6 through 8 group website. So there were 2 students, but a group could have up to 5 students. And then students are required, if they're doing a website, to state on the front page how many words they used and what their media count is. So on a website, students are allowed to embed video or audio files. And they then have a button down at the bottom here, which is under my closed captions. There we go. To click through to the next page of their website and read their thesis. And then We can see they've included a source on this page, and there's a menu that lets us scroll through all the different parts of their topic, looking at some of the ecological impacts of Mao Zedong. And so the project rolls out across all of these different parts of the website, and it wraps up on a page where I mentioned previously, projects have to include a process paper and an annotated bibliography. And so those, in the case of a website, are embedded in the website. And if you're judging, you'll find them right there. The process paper is such a great part of a National History Day project. It gives us an opportunity when we're judging to understand the thought process of the students, why they picked their topic, any obstacles they ran into, the parts that were most exciting and interesting to them, how they managed their research. And it's really interesting to look at projects from last year and see students reflect on the impact that the COVID-19 pandemic had on their research. And then we can also find the annotated bibliography for this project embedded down here as well. When we have judge training closer to the launch of the contest, we'll provide more specific instruction on how to evaluate these different components of each type of project. But for now, I'll just point out these annotated bibliographies are such an amazing resource and such an amazing skill development opportunity for the students who work on them. We can see how extensive the annotated bibliography is on this project. Let's take a quick look at a different kind of project. I also wanted to highlight an exhibit that is a senior group exhibit. Now, as you can imagine, exhibits for the national contest last year, which was virtual, and again this year for all levels of the contest, they look a little different because they're online. And so when we open this up, the exhibit is submitted as one single PDF. It actually starts off with the process paper that we saw for our website, where students were reflecting on the process of working on the project. It includes the annotated bibliography. And then for exhibits, students are allowed to do one of two things. They can actually create an exhibit in real life, physically, and take photographs of it and upload those into a PowerPoint template, or they can, if they have software for making exhibits, they can make a digital first exhibit. In this case, this exhibit on the Erie Canal, students had made a physical exhibit and then they took photographs of it. And so these exhibit boards, we can see they contain a lot of information, and the students are instructed to take really close-up photographs. The templates this year give them the opportunity to not just take photographs, but actually copy and paste all the text from different parts of their exhibit right into the PowerPoint so that it's easy for judges to see. Last year, everything was a little bit impromptu with moving contests online, and it's great to see these projects from last year. I think they'll be even easier for us as judges to interact with this year. So that gives us a quick look at two different types of projects, websites and exhibits. There are other types, performances, papers, and documentaries. And if you are interested in looking at more of those, I can share a link to explore those on the National History Day website. So a few things that I wanted to note. What does it mean that the contest is virtual this year? It means that all student projects will be submitted and judged online. Also, for any of you who are familiar with the History Day contest format, usually there's an interview between judges and students, and that's always been such an incredible opportunity for students to interact with history experts and to have this experience that is giving them a glimpse into different kinds of professional interactions. But this year we recognize, first of all, because of digital equity issues, that it would be really unfair to ask students to be on Zoom at a specific time. We've also been given pretty clear instruction from the National Office of National History Day that there are a lot of legal issues involved in asking students to show up on Zoom because of data privacy risks. So there will not be interviews between judges and students this year, but We'll be providing a lot of instruction on other ways that you can give really helpful feedback to students. A few important dates that I'd like to highlight. Registration is happening now. So students, teachers, and judges all have until March 2nd to register. And I'll share this registration link again after we wrap up. And then judges will be asked to attend an online training session, either at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, March 9th, or 2 p.m. on Wednesday, March 10th. This training is where we'll give really in-depth detail for judges, including how to evaluate projects using a provided evaluation rubric, how to deal with rule infractions, how to use the online judging platform, and how to provide feedback to students. We'll be talking a little more extensively and providing more resources from the national contest about how to evaluate the different types of projects as well, because we need to look differently at a paper and a documentary and a performance, especially when some of those translate to a virtual format more easily than others. Online judging will then take place between March 2nd and March 25th, and we'll be announcing winners on March 26th. So one other thing that I wanted to mention is that all projects touch on a contest theme. Last year's contest theme was breaking barriers in history. So the two projects that I just showed were touching on that theme somehow, whether by looking at the Erie Canal or looking at Mao's legacy. This year's contest theme is communication in history. So no matter what topic students choose and no matter what format of project, they all connect somehow with the contest theme. And National History Day has a really fantastic theme webpage. To introduce us to the theme more, I won't play the whole theme video at this moment, but there's some great resources here for thinking about how that theme, communication in history, can really apply to so many different topics. And there's great hints for teachers and students there, and we really hope then that all the projects we see this year will have that connection to the theme, because as judges, you'll be looking at every project to see if it connects somehow with that theme. So what is the role of a History Day judge? Judges encourage the growth of future scholars. Each student who competes in History Day is a budding historian, and judges have a really unique opportunity to connect with students and encourage their exploration of history. Judges evaluate projects using an evaluation rubric provided by the National History Day headquarters, and that is embedded in the online judging portal. Judges also give constructive feedback that can help students refine their project if they are moving on to the next level of the contest, or that can help them on future research projects. And I want to stress that judges are an outside voice. So students might hear something from a parent or a teacher. Some of you may be parents or teachers who tell things to students over and over. But sometimes students only take those things to heart when they hear it from someone new, like a History Day judge. And I know sometimes my past experience as a judge, I thought, oh, I bet their teacher told them this. I don't need to tell them again. But actually, for you as a judge, this might be the opportunity for a student to really hear something that will help them and inspire them as a scholar. And so what exactly do History Day judges do? First, they review their projects. So for those who sign up as judges, I'll be in touch closer to the date of judging starting. And I will give every judge a set of projects. All of them will be in the same category and division. So you'll only be looking at junior or senior projects, and you'll only be looking at one type of project. For example, group websites, or individual websites, or group performances, etc. You wouldn't be asked to look at different types of projects by different ages of students. And you'll evaluate those and think about whether they violate any of the rules in the rule book. We'll touch more specifically and more in depth on rules in our judge training at the start of March. And you will receive those judging assignments, as I said, after that judge training session and before judging officially starts on March 12th. And then you'll have the opportunity to log into the online judging portal. That's where you also register to judge, to use the National History Day evaluation rubric and provide feedback on each project. And there's also space to write constructive feedback. So I've included a glimpse of the evaluation rubric here. And for any of you who are familiar with History Day, this is new. We used to have an evaluation form that looked a little different, and now we have this new rubric. And it's, as I said, embedded into the judging portal, so it's really easy to check off where projects fall. And then finally, after you've done that work of looking at projects yourself, you'll meet with your judging team. So you are never alone in judging. You're never alone in evaluating a set of projects. My goal is to have 2 or 3 judges evaluating every group of projects. And so as a team, you'll decide on rankings for the projects you've judged. Judging for History Day is consensus-based, so judges don't vote on which ones they think are best. They arrive at a consensus of the rankings they want to give to the projects they've been assigned. And judges will also have the opportunity to nominate projects for a few special awards that recognize student effort in different areas. So those are the main points that I wanted to touch on today. And if you'd like to judge for History Day in 2021 and you haven't signed up yet, you can definitely get in touch. I will share my email in the chat afterwards. Or you can go ahead and sign up, and I'll just give you a look at what that looks like. This is our contest website, and that link is there in the presentation. Again, I'll share it in follow-up. And you would just go to create an account and select judge. And then you'll have the opportunity to walk through a form where you fill in your details. You want to write down your username and password because you will be using them a fair bit. And then I'll be in touch and follow up, and we will get you up and running in time for History Day in March. So thank you again for thinking about judging, and I would love to check if anyone has any questions.